Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, increasing violent conflicts in West Africa dominates discussions at the 55th Ordinary Session of ECOWAS leaders in Abuja. President Buhari calls for greater cooperation to tackle instability in sub-region. Late United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan and Dr. Ameyo Adadevoh get ECOWAS posthumous awards for excellence at the Commission's Heads of State Summit in Abuja. International humanitarian group Save the Children launches reports on state of children in Nigeria, saying that over 2 million girls, boys and caregivers in need of psychosocial support in Northeast. And Sudan's military warns opposition over planned protest rally tomorrow, says the group must be responsible for any loss of life or damage for action plan.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's stock market loses nearly 500 billion naira on profit taken in the month of June as investors brace for the third quarter and second half of the year.
And on sports news tonight, the highly anticipated Group F clash between the Black Stars of Ghana and the indomitable Lions of Cameroon at the Africa Cup of Nations fails to live up to expectation and ends in a draw.
The 55th Ordinary Session of the Authorities of Heads of State and Government of the ECOWAS has ended in Abuja with leaders of member states committing to reorganization, reintegration, creation of monetary unions and free movement of people and goods across the shared borders. The ECOWAS has also adopted the ECO as the name of the ECOWAS single currency. Earlier, during the opening ceremony, the leaders, including President Muhammadu Buhari, say they are concerned over the violent conflicts across the region. Our correspondent Ibrahim Adra reports.
13 presidents and heads of government as well as representatives of other countries were present at the State House Banquet Hall for the 55th ECOWAS Summit.
It is with great pleasure.
In all of the opening comments, the speakers touched on issues slowing down growth and development in the region. Top of the list is insecurity.
We are all witness to the recurring instance of inter-communal clashes, hardest farmers' conflicts, banditry and terrorist attacks in all our countries. Let me offer, on behalf of all of us, our sincere sympathies and condolences to the families of the victims of terrorist attacks, banditry and inter-communal clashes perpetrated by some misguided elements in our societies.
West Africa sub-region faces a number of other challenges which require concerted national, regional, and international efforts. Some of these relate to governance, particularly inclusion, accountability, and adherence to rule of law, climate change, maritime piracy, security sector reform, drug trafficking, and transnational organized crime.
The meeting went into closed doors for over 7 hours. A 58-point communique was read at the end of the meeting, showing the leaders agreeing on several fronts. These include peace and security, tourism, single currency and free movement of people and goods across common borders.
The authority reaffirms a gradual approach to the single currency, starting with countries that meet the convergence criteria. The authority adopts the flexible exchange rate regime together with a monetary policy framework centered on inflation targeting. ECO was also adopted as the name of the ECOWAS single currency.
The political situations in Mali and Benin Republic, Guinea-Bissau and Togo were also reviewed.
The authority takes note with satisfaction of the holding of local elections on 30th June 2019 with effective participation of the opposition and urges all stakeholders to ensure peaceful elections in order to deepen democracy in Togo.
President Muhammadu Yusufu of Niger Republic emerged the new chair of the ordinary session, taking over from President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria, who received accolades from his colleagues for his leadership and commitment. The next summit of the ordinary session is scheduled for December 2019 in Abuja. From the banquet hall of the presidential villa, Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
Apart from the critical issues discussed by the ECOWAS leaders, they also honored some Africans within the bloc who have performed exemplarily well in different fields of human endeavor and for the sake of humanity. The late Dr. Ameyo Adedevo of Nigeria bagged the 2018 Posthumous Deserving Citizens of the Community Award for her role in stopping the spread of Ebola virus in the country in 2014. The late Nigerian doctor was honored for risking her life to save the community from the Ebola virus disease. The award was received by her son Bankole Cardoso and her niece. Others honored are former United Nations Secretary General late Kofi Annan, who won the award for distinguished personalities, while Mrs. Germaine Akogne, a Senegalese dancer and choreographer, won the prize for arts and literature. Nani Marie Annan, wife of the late international diplomat Kofi, spoke on behalf of the awardees.
During this year, we have been touched by the outpour of support by all those inspired by his vision and motivated by the values so dear to him in striving to make the world a better place for all, women and men alike. While his career and achievements unfolded across the globe, he was a West African, a son of Ghana, and I believe he drew his strength from his deep roots in Africa. While the global winds often took him to distant lands, his thoughts were never far from home. The fate and fortunes of the people of West Africa were always close to his heart, and he relished each opportunity to personally contribute to lasting peace, security, and sustainable development in the region. Together with him, I often had the great privilege to visit your countries, and I could witness firsthand his total commitment to the region.
To security matters now. The Air Task Force Unit of Operation Lafia Dole says it has destroyed terrorist hideouts at the Gobara and Bakassi areas of Borno State. The Director of Air Force Information and Public Relations, Commodore Ibukule Daramola, says that separate air raids were conducted in continuation of Operation Green Sweep 2. He adds that the attack on Gobara, a settlement in the Sambisa forest area, was carried out after intelligence reports that a segment of the settlement is being used by terrorists to store their logistics and other equipment. A similar attack on another active camp believed to belong to the Islamic State of West Africa, province ISWAP, brought down elements located on the fringes of Lake Chad in northern Borno State. According to Comrade Daramola, the Air Force platform observed a significant presence of ISWAP fighters attempting to flee the location. In the meantime, as the battle against terrorism intensifies, the effect of violent attacks is taking its toll on children and other vulnerable members of the society. Over 2 million girls, boys, and caregivers are in need of psychosocial support services due to severe distress, hardship, and displacement in the Northeast. That's according to the international humanitarian agency Save the Children in one of its latest reports. The country director, Mr. Benjamin Foot, wants the federal government to increase investment in children, especially those affected by insurgency.
According to the United Nations, women and children have been at the receiving end in armed conflicts across the world, and insurgency in Nigeria's northeast region is not left out. According to the Child Protection Report by international humanitarian organization Save the Children, the conflict has exposed children to different forms of violence, which has led to death, injury, forced displacement, abduction, and conflict-related psychological distress. The report further states that 770,000 children and caregivers remain at risk of injury and loss of life from explosive remnants of war. These statistics call for concern and action on the part of the relevant authorities.
The investment in education, the investment in health, things weighing down the countries, not just this country, all countries' budgets.
The report adds that over 2 million children in the Northeast require psychosocial support, while 2.2 million school-aged children need immediate education. However, 867 primary schools in Borno State are still non-functional, mainly due to inaccessibility as a result of insecurity. But government is promising to turn around the situation.
Save the Children has remained a major ally of the ministry in providing relevant technical and financial assistance in the implementation of programs and projects aimed at promoting and protecting the rights of our children. I am very excited at your resolve, Save the Children's resolve, to scale up collaboration with my ministry and, in fact, government of Nigeria in order to bring about an accelerated change for children, including the domestication of the Child Rights Act. By now, it should be implemented nationwide. And in fact, we have to do it in the most aggressive manner if we want to achieve our result, our target.
According to the report, between 2013 and 2017, at least 550,000 babies are thought to have died in 10 worst affected countries by armed conflicts. Nigeria is one of them. These indeed calls for action, and action to care about children in armed conflict situations.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed his worries over recurring cases of communal clashes that have destroyed many lives and property across the country, particularly the Tiv-Jukung relationship in Benue and Taraba states. A statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Mr. Garba Shehu, says that President Muhammadu Buhari has begun consultations for an inclusive stakeholder committee that will thoroughly interrogate issues that fuel communal conflicts across the country, with a mandate to preferring lasting solutions to the disagreements. According to him, the committee, which will work with the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, will include traditional rulers, religious bodies, especially the Christian Association of Nigeria and the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, age groups, market, farmers, hunters associations, local and state government officials, and relevant security agencies. The statement adds that the President remains committed to unity, peace, and prosperity. Away from security concerns, former Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha is advocating the establishment of state police to resolve cases of insecurity in the country. Senator Okorocha, who represents Imo West District in the National Assembly, insists that the state police will still lead the centralization of policing system in the country. The federal lawmakers' position is that if the people of the community level are given the responsibility of governing their jurisdiction, it will be easy for them to check any form of crime and criminality in their vicinity. He says that he deployed the system in Imo State and it helped to reduce the level of kidnappings.
What you call state police does not exist. What they are calling state police is actually community police. When you come and hang it at the state level again, it doesn't get down to the community where the crimes are taking place, because if you allow the communities to take responsibility for their safety and their security and give them a government statement of government with only 100,000 naira a month, you see the change in this country. I achieved that with only 20,000 naira given to traditional ruler, and another 80,000 naira for the community government council meeting. Peace and kidnapping stopped in Imo State. To say the immediate thing to do now to address this ugly situation is to let government trickle down to the grassroots by setting up what is called a community government council, where every traditional ruler in this country will be given a responsibility to feel like a governor, to govern his people within that local enclave called a community, who share common interests, common pains, common ancestral background, common culture. At that time, they can control themselves. At that time, they can protect themselves.
In part two, after the break, Niger Delta youth seek overhaul of presidential amnesty program, say initiative has been mismanaged. Presidential Office on Niger Delta describes allegation as false. Stay with us.